Hi, welcome back to another hour with Crowder. With me, your host Crowder. Like already a subscriber, subscriber. If you're already a subscriber, go ahead and ding the bell so that you can get all of our latest podcast interviews every Tuesday. Hey, hi you folks. Of course, you're probably looking like, ooh, she lost a lot of weight. Well, I did. Your girl finally got it. The dun 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 COVID. I'm not gonna lie, like, isn't it ironic the person that's been talking shit about COVID this whole time gets COVID? But I mean, I'm just saying, to me it feels like pneumonia 2.0. It just feels like real pneumonia-ish. I'm not saying that that's how it affected everyone, but I'm just saying ain't nothing to run out and cry about, I feel. But if you is running out and crying, I understand why. The first couple of days was kind of rough, I feel. But, my diet is pretty decent, I like to say. I be trying to get some fruits and vegetables in here and there. And I do drink a lot of water, but that's not going to be the same for a lot of other people. I would just say get as much vitamin C as you possibly can, zinc, all of that other stuff that they told you to do, because it really does help. I mean, that's not going to be the case for everyone, but I do think that those three things will help you out a lot. But if you can't breathe, go to the hospital. Don't listen to an hour with Crowder and then say, well, Crowder told you what worked for her. I'm just saying. But take your ass to the hospital if you feel some other type of way. That's all I'm going to say about it. But while we on the topic of COVID and vaccines and all of that stuff, we didn't even really get on vaccines, but I'm about to take you there because they're actually trying to make vaccination mandatory. We already figured that it was coming up, and I really do feel like they is going to put us on lockdown again. What's the new strand? The Delta. The Delta and the Gamma strand, they're out, and they've been seeing effects from it seeping through. So, y'all be careful for that. But because of that, then they are making it mandatory in some places. I think in France. Let me look that up real quick. Dang, I hate putting on these glasses, but I can't tell y'all the news if I can't see it. So, dang. All this stuff is in the way. I can't, get, comfortable. Everything's jerking at my head and everything. Okay, well, in places like France and other places, hold up, because I wanted to look that up. France, mandatory vaccination. Okay, boom, here we go. France, yep. France passes law that makes Corona Health Pass required for dining and traveling. You see how they trying to get y'all? The things that y'all enjoy, they just going to slap it on there. France Parliament approved a law earlier Monday requiring a special virus pass for all restaurants and domestic travel and mandating vaccines for all health workers. Both measures have prompted protests and political tension. President Emmanuel Macron, I butchered his name. Oh, well, he'll be okay. And his government says that they are needed to protect vulnerable population in hospitals as infections rebound and to avoid new lockdowns. Okay, so we're not that far away from that either. I was watching Fox News the other day, and one of the health senates or something like that was telling the anchors over there that, yeah, we're definitely going to have to make it mandatory, and we have to do it quickly, and we have to do it with force. It's been long overdue that we've been giving Americans the freedom. Look at the words that they use, the freedom, which that's nothing that can be taken away from us. But he chose to choose that word. It's been well over time that we stopped giving Americans the freedom to choose whether they want the vaccine or not. So with things like they're sending people to come to your house to see if you want the vaccine or have you gotten the vaccine, kind of like a sensor vaccine. That's what it kind of reminds me of, like the sensor, people that come to your door and knock on your door and want all that information and stuff like that. That's the same thing that's about to get ready to start going on with the vaccines. So it's like, for the people that don't think that it's about to come, it's definitely coming. They're doing it in France, and look at the places that they're doing it to. They're doing it to the places that you enjoy going to. Who doesn't like to travel? Who doesn't like to dine out? They're slowly taking away the little freedoms that we got. And if we don't stop this now, then it will be a problem. They're just going to keep taking away the freedoms that we have until we have no more. And what is that phrase? Americans give, I don't know the phrase, but it's something along the lines of people trade freedoms for safety. And because we're so scared of this virus, then we'll almost give all of our freedoms away to have this sense of safety that the government gives us, which really, they're the whole people that created this whole thing. I mean, people like to forget things that happened at the beginning of this wave of COVID. How the rumor about it coming out of a Wuhan lab, and then, oh, well, that's just conspiracy theory. Then earlier, and then later on this year, I think about 2 or 3 months ago, then they found out, oh, well, it is some correlation between the Wuhan lab and Dr. Fauci and how it was out of a lab and emails. And then it's just like, oh, okay, well, we're just going to forget that. I just don't understand how we could just keep forgetting stuff that happened earlier in the year about COVID. And then once they start taking away stuff, we forget that. And then we just go along with the program like we didn't hear about all that stuff that happened at the beginning. I mean, I feel like if we're not going to fight any fight, this should be the fight. This should be the fight right here to let them know that, okay, we're not going to put up with this. You can't tell us what we can get or what we can't get. And yes, this is very serious. And I know that we do have to protect, the vulnerable people that this virus can totally affect. But that shouldn't be at the expense of you telling me what to do with my body. I just feel like I said, if this ain't the fight to fight, if you ain't never fought no other fight or you haven't agreed on anything that the politicians have done, this is the one to fight, because it's not going to stop here. It's going to keep going. Y'all think that y'all just going to get this vaccine one time? No, it's going to be a yearly thing. It's going to be a monthly thing. And then before you know it, we all walking around with the mark of the beast in our forehead. I'm just saying we need to stand up with this particular thing, because for one, we don't know what's in these vaccines. We don't. We would like to think because it's science and it's the government and, 1% of the world did die, but we honestly don't know how this is going to affect us. They didn't go through a trial run. It just seems like they going straight to humans. Forget the animal, testing, straight to humans. You guys are the test dummies now. And it's just so funny how, we're all just falling in line for the test dummy position. I got it right now, and I'm not going to say I feel exactly fine or anything like that, and I'm not trying to downplay anybody that did have it and feel like, no, that shit felt like death. I'm not trying to downplay anybody that did have it and they did have a hard time with it, but even with me having it, I'm not going to say, okay, well, because I had it and it felt like death, then everybody needs to go out and go get it. No, how about you just go out and go get it and you feel safe with your vaccine and don't worry about those other people that don't have it, because the vaccine is supposed to, prevent you from getting it. But no, it's not, because guess what? The CDC clearly said that it's not guaranteed that you won't still get it. So you're going to go out and go get a vaccine. So this is where I'm getting really mad and confused at, is that, okay, you're going to make something mandatory to get, but it's not guaranteed that if you get it, then you're not going to get the COVID. So what is the fuss all about? If it's not going to prevent you from getting it, then why get it at all? Even if you get COVID, you have a 99% survival rate. If you get the vaccine, what's the rate of you not getting it? It just doesn't make sense to me. But, that's that. I'm just telling you guys, be on the lookout for all of those mandatory vaccine things because, like I said, it's not going to stop there, bro. It's very hard to take power away from someone that you already gave it to. We've already taught the government how to treat us. We already taught them that, okay, we will exchange freedom for safety, even if the safety is away from the very thing that the government created. So they create this chaos, and then they provide a solution, but it's like they're playing the angel and the devil at the same time. If you catch what I'm saying, or if you understand my, analogy on it. But yeah, they're playing both sides. They created this virus, and now the vaccine is the solution. And guess what? They're going to do that 1,000,000 times over until you don't have any freedom. And we're living in this slavery world, which we already are, but the only thing that's keeping us just completely away from slavery, and I'm not talking about just black people or anything like that, I'm talking about us as the working class. The only thing that's keeping us completely away from being a slave to this government is the fact that we have guns. That's why I think that it's so crazy when people say that we need more gun laws, because that's really just you pushing more laws for yourself, because the government does not follow their own laws. The laws is not for everyone. The laws is for you. So when you push more laws for something, then you're pushing them on yourself. You're not pushing them for them too. So I'm not going to go too deep into that because I got two more other topics. I'm not going to stay here long because, I got to go take care of HR Heather. She's here, but she's in the cut. She doesn't feel good either. Let's go ahead on. Where are we at right now? 13? Yeah, we're still good. Here we go. Boom. I really want to go over this topic with my co-host, but they had some other stuff to do as well, and we'll probably recap on it when they do get here. But the new Georgia voting law, it went into effect Thursday. Wait a minute, hold up. When was this published? Hold up. Okay, June. Dang. Well, this is an article written in June, but it is, who wrote this? The Atlantic Journal Constitution. That's a newspaper. I didn't even know that was a newspaper. But let me go ahead and read this little insert real quick. Requirements of Georgia voting law begins Thursday. Georgia's new voting law goes into effect Thursday, requiring new forms of ID for absentee voting, tighter ballot request deadlines, and changes to early voting. Part of the law will have an immediate impact on two states' House runoffs after early voting already began this week, but requirements for absentee voters to submit a driver's license number or ID documents won't be used in the runoff because those races began under previous election rules. The bigger test, okay, no, I don't want to read that. I don't want to read all that. Okay, legislation gave election officials until July 1st to implement several provisions dealing with absentee and early voting pending federal lawsuit, including a case filed last week by the U.S. Department of Justice are asking the courts to stop the law. So there's a lot of back and forth about this law, and I looked into it, and I really hope everybody else go look into like the actual copy of the new laws and not just go off the news, because if you look at some of those the laws in there, what it really seems like is just that they're doing away with the things that was implemented when COVID happened and elections were going on. It just seems like they're like, okay, well, no more of this, like just pulling up and putting your ballot off in the thing. And I think one of them was like, nobody can give you food or water in the line. It seems like really petty stuff to me. But let me read off some of them because I had them up here. Okay, the requirements of Georgia voting law have already been incorporated into the county election director say. Wait a minute, hold up. I had it. Okay, here we go. Absentee ballot requests must be made at least 11 days before an election. ID numbers or documents will be required when requesting and returning absentee ballots. I don't know why I can't say absentee. I want to say absent so bad. Special ballot security papers with features detectable by infrared light. Infrared light is required for both in-person and absentee ballots. So all of this kind of sounds like I said, it kind of sounds like it's more verification of who you are and where you're from, and less of the things that was implemented when COVID happened. So everybody knows this. I've said this 1,000 times on my show, even though I've walked it back a bit. Crowder, is not a voter. I don't vote. I don't believe in voting. But that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be people that do it. I'm just not that black person that vote. But if you are that black person that vote, I would suggest that you, and if this is important to you. Now, let's not forget that like our ancestors went through a lot to have us vote, and they went through way worse than having to put their absentee ballot in 11 days before an election. They went through a lot more than having to have their ID number or their document number, verified. That sounds like ID. Okay, they went through a lot more than having a piece of paper that might be ran by infrared light to make sure that you're you. So if you're that black person or person that thinks voting is important, I would tell you to just go by it. Just be prompt. Just be on time. You already know that this is the game that they're playing, so beat them at their own game. I mean, yeah, you can say, well, damn, grandma, she do. Okay, well, get grandma and a whole group of people from your community and go up there all together. That way that y'all got water and all of that stuff, and y'all are hydrated before y'all come. Y'all ate before y'all came. Everybody get their information together. Check and see if you got your information together before you go up there, so that it ain't no problems. I don't have to worry about those problems. I don't care about voting because I just feel like it's a big game. But like I said, all of this does not seem like it's jeopardizing black people rights to vote. It doesn't seem like a suppression. Every black person that I know have identification that they're asking for. These forms of identification that they're asking for, every black person I know have this. Why? Because I can go to several black people and they've been to a club. You got to have an ID to get in the club. they've smoked tobacco products. Got to have ID to, especially now it's 21 to smoke. So got to have an ID to do that. What else? If you got a job, you have at least 3 forms of identification. So this doesn't seem like anything that is going to affect the black vote. What this honestly do seem like to me is that this is a suppression of illegal immigrants. That's what it seems like to me, because the only people that I can think of that wouldn't have these forms of identification that is sensitive enough to be ran under an infrared light and it be invalid is someone that does not live here legally. Because even if you just come here and you you just cross the border or whatever and you in the works of getting your proper paperwork, they're going to give you a visa. They're going to give you some type of identification, so because they want to know who you are too. So this to me don't seem like what Kamala and everybody on the Democrat side is trying to make it out to be. That doesn't seem like that to me. Just walk in your living room right now and ask everybody if they got an ID and a social. And that should tell you right there that nobody black or no one that lives here legally in America is going to have a problem with this. Now, the tardiness, not being able to get to the polls in time, that could be just your problem, because, they did kind of lax on that. I think I seen that no more the second month in the elections or something, then it's a Saturday and they're not going to be taking any polls. And that could be problematic for some people that work Monday through Friday or if they work on the weekend. But I think at your job, they have to legally let you go vote. Like, you can't get in trouble for that, can you?
Yeah, they legally they have to give you, I think, an hour or two. But
okay.
Also,
you ain't on no damn mic, man.
Yeah, but I don't want to be on the mic.
Okay.
Can you talk about how they closed over 700 polling places in Texas, and most of them were in disproportionate, or they were in Black and Hispanic communities?
Okay. I wish that you. Okay. So, boom, we just got an article here.
Because when people talk about voter suppression, that's what they're talking about.
Okay. But that's not just all that they're talking about.
But that's what they're mostly talking about.
Okay. So, Texas closes hundreds of polling sites, making it harder for minorities to vote. Okay. I did get this little article from, this article from HR in the back, because I was talking about voter suppression, and it's really interesting because I didn't know that much about it, but I'll read like some little inserts so that this episode won't be mad long. But did not know this. Last year, Texas led the U.S. South in an inevitable statistic, closing the most polling stations, making it more difficult for people to vote, and arguably beneficial to Republicans. I'm not going to try to read a lot, but here's something that I picked up on. I'll read both. The fact of the matter is that Texas is not a red state, says Antonio Alvarado of JOLT, a progressive Latino politician. Texas is a non-voting state. Okay. And then the other one that I read, I wish I wouldn't have got this so late, but I wanted to read this fact because we were just talking about this in the back. I'd be curious to know how many of the efforts were good faith, increase the number of options for a voter, but also improve the kind of polling place that a particular voter may have voted in, said Chris Davis, the Williamson County Elections Administrator and former president of the Texas Association of Election Administration. Why the fuck is that so long? Why is that title so long? I almost died. You know, I got COVID, can't even really hardly breathe over here. Y'all giving 5-syllable titles. But McLena, I do not know these people names, bro. County COP Chair John Cure called concerns about closure impacting turnout hogwash, saying that turnout was actually higher in his county after the number of voting locations dropped from 59 to 33. The 2018 mid-election did indeed have higher turnouts than the 2014 midterms in that county, though voting also surged more broadly across the state and nation. Okay, so I'll probably put the link in the description for all of you guys to read. I could have done it, but it was just hot off the press. I don't know. So what I got from that article is that Texas didn't close down a whole bunch of polls, but they centralized it. They made it to the point where every district, instead of going to just any library in that district that wants to hold voting polls or any school that wants to hold the voting polls, they're like, no, we're going to have one centralized place for all the voters to go to in this district. Because another thing that I didn't know, because I don't vote, I've only voted one time in my whole life, and it was for Obama, and yeah, it was because he was black. But yeah, see how that bit me in the ass. But I didn't know that your vote could get thrown out because you went to the wrong place to vote. I didn't know that. So I guess it's good that I read that article because, yeah, I didn't know that. So what me and Heather was talking about before the camera cut out and we had to, I had to read this article so I could get it down pack is, okay, if you're an 18-year-old and you go vote and you don't really know a lot about voting and you don't know that, okay, well, I need to go here to vote because this is my district, and then you go and then they said this is the wrong place and then they throw your ballot out, what is the chances of that 18-year-old going back to go vote at the proper place? Probably slim to none. So I think that it is kind of a good thing that they're centralizing it and it just making it one place to vote in instead of just all of these little places that you can go to. And with that being done, the lines are going to be longer, hence why they're saying, hey, you have to do this early because now it's going to be a lot of people instead of the maybe 200 people here that's going to be voting. Now it's probably going to be triple or quadruple that. So to get your vote in, because we closing this deadline early, or we closing this at this time, and in order for you to get your vote in at 6, then that means that you might want to be here at 4 at the latest so that it can go in and we don't have to shoo you away because the polls close at 6 and you came at 5:45 and now you think just because you're in line that you're going to get yours in. So like I said, I feel like this is a community issue. Not issue as in it's y'all fault, but I think this is one of the things that if you in the community and y'all think that voting is very important, which I do too, I'm just not that person to do it, then you need to be asking your neighbor, hey, when are you going to go vote? Let me go vote with you. Hey, let's rally up the people that ain't got no cars and carpool over to the centralized voting place, or, just get together with your people and try to knock this out because, like I said, voting is just such a game to me. It just seems like every time we come to a conclusion or like a median of what's good for everybody, then they come back in and move the goalpost. And I don't know, and this can be seen as good and bad. I mean, a lot of corruption has happened over the years with voting, the Bush era. A lot of people said Obama cheated. A lot of people said Trump cheated. So it's like, if we all concerned about people cheating, then why wouldn't you want stricter voting laws if you're that type of person that vote? Me, I would want the game as strict as it needs to be, because I would want to, especially if I had all the stuff that, I needed to vote. I would want it to be a pretty, like, close-knit. I want it to be supervised correctly, because I don't want nobody cheating no more. I want the person that I put their name on the ballot to be the one that it counts for. But, this could be seen as good and bad. I see it as both ways. I see the people that are saying, hey, this isn't right, because another thing that I said behind the scene was, okay, well, if I'm a person that is not near public transportation, and that library is where I voted for, 5-6 years, and now they have taken that poll space away from me, and I don't have anybody to have a ride with, or nobody's going to take me to the polls, then that's one less, person that have voted, and, I'm that person. And, if you're, like I said, I don't want to make this long and drawn out. It could be used for good. It could be used for bad. It just depends on where you at. I just feel like if you're that person that vote, you're that person that wants everybody to vote, then do your rounds, go to them rural cities, get those people together, carpool, get with your community leaders, get with your community organizations. And if you see this as a problem, then just go ahead and deal with it head on. Show the government that it don't matter what you put in front of us, we still gonna vote. It don't matter what you telling us, we still gonna come out here and we gonna show you the number and the power in numbers. Just show them what you guys can do together, because that's the only way that y'all are going to beat this voter suppression thing. Me, I don't vote. I don't really too much care about that. I just see this as either a illegal immigrant problem or something that is causing more verification for your identification. More rules to voting, so that they can suppress the cheating more, not suppress the voters, I feel. But yeah, I don't want to drag that out. But thanks for that article. She
Went on for 30 minutes.
I did. Oh God. Why do I have to always go so long? Let's talk about something fun. Let's leave something for I do want to go over the Trump sues the I don't. No, we're just gonna keep it short. Let's go fun. Lil Nas X, he did a new video. Got some bussy popping out at us in the jail. He got those bussies popping out. I'm not even gonna lie, like, I'm really hard on Lil Nas X, but you know what? Like I said last episode, he really is my guilty pleasure. Like, I hate that his songs are so fucking catchy. I hate them. What he got that new one with Jack Harlow? What is the name of that? Industry Baby. Like, I'm really hard on him, but I mean, now I can see that this is just this guy's personality. This is just him. I don't think he's doing it for an act anymore. I think that he is hardcore, full throttle gay. Yeah, he's gay. I wonder if he's a top or a bottom. I think he's a top.
Yeah, he's a bottom.
You think so? Nah, maybe. Yeah, well, he just came out with a new video, Industry Babies, and a lot of people is giving him a lot of backlash because, well, he got guys dancing naked. Of course, it's pixelated in the video, but he got guys dancing in the video. He's in prison. I'm not mad at it. A lot of people gave him a lot of backlash, but I'm just like, okay, well, you clearly see that this is who this guy is. He ain't harming nobody at this point. I don't like the fact that he always up in some kid faces over there talking about coming out and shit. But, and, you know, kissing niggas on stage and shit. I don't really like that. But this, you can control your kid watching a lot. And that's where people are pointing it to. Like, oh, he just keeps doing this in front of kids. Well, turn your fucking TV off. Turn your TV off. That dude's grown. Like, your kid ain't supposed to be watching this type of stuff anyways. So I'm just to the point where I'm like, okay, now if you didn't know from him being on Twitter saying what he said, if you don't know from him sliding down the pole into the devil's lap, giving him a lap dance, if you didn't know from the BET Awards, if you didn't know from him kissing a nigga on the BET Awards, that this is the type of dude that Lil Nas X is and that he will continue to be, then that's on you. You can't keep screaming out, oh, we keep doing this in front of the kids, but you got your kids sitting there right in front of the damn TV watching them.
So he used his
You got to get a mic, bro. I can't, you just sound choppy. Just use the good one. Use the good one. We're gonna, hey folks, we're gonna sanitize this whole room before Rick Rock and Malik and Ellie and everybody get back. You know, we just in here. We needed a space to film. But yeah, HR has about to get on to tell us some facts.
So he used his prison-themed Industry Baby video as a fundraiser for the Bail Project.
What's the Bail
Project? Which is a
Project?
nonprofit that is combating mass incarceration.
See, we was talking shit about him. Well, I wasn't talking shit about him this time. Last week I was talking shit about him. But
this is what he said. Music is the way I fight for liberation, but true freedom requires change in how the criminal justice system works, starting with cash bail. I know the pain that incarceration brings to a family, and I know that disproportionate impact that cash bail has on Black Americans. There are so many stories that call on us to take action, and I invite you to join me in this important civil rights issue. I mean, when this was posted, he had already raised $5.6 thousand.
Well, see, I'm not mad at that.
I fucking love him. I love him so much. Like, everything he stands for. He's funny as fuck. He's such a troll. Like, he loves inciting violence between people.
Hey, don't say that. That's a crime, actually.
And you know that I'm the same way. I love riling people up with social justice issues.
And now that I know the backstory in behind it, I'm not mad at it. And even if that story wasn't in behind it, I still wouldn't be mad at it because this is who he is as an artist and a person, even behind the scenes. Now, do I think that he's this flagrant outside of his art? No, I think that he's probably just a regular guy that likes to joke, just like any other guy, just likes to joke and mess around with you and all of that stuff. But like I said, I mean, we can't be mad at the way that he present his art. This is how he presents his art. Whether it's whether it's something that you support or something that you don't support. And now that I know that that's the story and behind it, bravo. You know, I mean, he's always been a guilty pleasure of mine. Even the Old Town Road shit, like I couldn't get it out of my damn head. I felt like a 5-year-old singing that shit in my truck. Got the horses in the back.
Yeah, I've always followed him on Twitter. He's so funny. Yeah. Like everything he says, he's a meme god. He loves memes. And like, I don't know, it's just he's really, really, really funny. I wish I knew him in real life.
Yeah.
He's a very funny guy.
Yeah, I think he's funny. But bravo for that. That is another thing that needs to be swiftly corrected. Injustice in the criminal system. We was just talking about that today at the house, about like going to jail and how they treat you like anything, and you literally are a slave whenever you're in the system. I mean, I won't say any names or anything because I don't know what legal what legal like things will happen to me if I start like saying jail names and shit like that. But a lot of like I think everybody knows that I went to jail, for 18 months. And I was telling Heather about this story that like in the summer, well, I guess I'll start it from the beginning. It's like a saying that people be like, don't ever say ever. And when I got out of jail, I always told people I'm never going back to jail. And people would be like, oh, don't ever say ever. And I'd be like, fuck off. I'm never going back to jail, bro. Because, like, you don't know. Like, when people be like, nah, bro, that shit is wrong in there. They think that they think of criminals as like, oh, well, you deserve it because you broke the law. Well, yeah, you did break the law, but you don't deserve the shit that they do to you in there. It was one time, and this is the smothering hot-ass heat of Gatesville, Texas, where it ain't shit out there. No trees, no nothing. You couldn't run if you wanted to because 9 times out of 10, you're going to run into another prison. So it's just like, it's hot as hell. We don't have no AC in the unit. And 3 girls are like, seizure prone. And, with seizures, if you get too hot, that activates your seizures. And mind you, we didn't have no AC in the unit. And boom, one girl has a seizure. Maybe 3 hours later, boom, another girl has a seizure. And then right after that, another girl has a seizure. And I'm just looking around in my bed like, okay, are we going to call the ambulance? And, like, the nurses from, like, the front office just comes in and gives them water and props their head up. And I'm just looking around like, what the fuck, man? Like, okay, like, damn, where's the real help? Because this ain't the real help. This isn't what it's supposed to happen when you have a seizure. So what's going on? And it dawned on me at that moment. And actually, not even in that moment, but it was that moment that it was like, oh, shit, I'm a slave to the system. But along with that instant and that there's COs that mess with the inmates and there's deals that inmates can cut with COs to, get themselves out of trouble. And, you see it all the time. Like, you see a CO favor one inmate, 9 times out of 10, something's going on with them and that inmate, and a couple of people did get fired that year that I was in prison because we had found out that they was messing around with the inmates. And we don't know if that was against their will or was it mutual or whatever. And sometimes that shit don't be mutual. It all be like blackmail. Like, okay, well, I seen you, slide some chips over to bunk 207 and, that's grounds to get you kicked out. So what you gonna do? It can be any of that stuff. And that's when it dawned on me that, dang, that's no different from the slave masters, raping the women on the plantation. That's no different from the unjustified living conditions that slaves went under, being in their cots with no AC at night and eating trash-ass leftover food. And, it's no different from that. So that's why I'm just like, yeah, that if Lil Nas X is doing that to correct the justice system and shine some light on that, me as an ex-con, I feel him. And I don't care, dance naked all you want on screen. If you didn't already got what, $500,000, what, $5,000, you got $5,000, something like that. How much did you raise?
I mean, when this was posted, which was 3 days ago, it was 5.6K.
So,
I mean, that his song is already #1 on the charts, and it just came out yesterday. So
okay, well, I'm not mad at it. Shake that bussy, boy. Shake that bussy. Did you hear what Jack Harlow said? He was like, I wouldn't even mind being in the shower scene. Have you seen the whole video?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's a shower scene where
they're all naked, right?
Yeah, where they're all naked. Yeah, and Jack Harlow gets on Twitter and he's like, I would do that video over again, even if I was in the shower scene and Lil Nas X is like, wait a minute, hold up, we gotta do the remake.
Well, that's a man that's secure in his sexuality right there.
Yeah, I feel him. I mean, hey, do you, Lil Nas X? I'm tired of getting on you. Well, I'm tired as hell, you guys, and we got to get home. I just really love chilling with you guys, hanging with you guys, even though you guys ain't even here. I don't even know why I'm saying that, but I love like conversating with y'all. I love getting the episode out. I really love an hour crowd. I love doing this, and not even COVID can take me away from putting out an episode every Tuesday. And that is an hour with Crowder. Boom, follow me at an hour with Crowder on Instagram, an hour with Crowder Facebook, Crowder the Great on Twitter, and catch us on all streaming platforms: Google Play, Apple Play, Anchor, Spotify, and you're watching right now YouTube. Boom, we out, baby.